My name's Sarah from Compton Garden Flowers, and I've been asked by ETC Travel to talk about my top bloom for 2021. Well, here at Compton Garden Flowers we do grow a huge array of flowers, and to pick one is actually quite difficult, but I've had a good think, and for me I think it has to be the dahlia. Well, why dahlias? Well, mainly because they come in so many different colours and varieties, shapes and sizes. The colours, every colour of the rainbow apart from blue. The varieties, from the very small little pom-poms to the huge dinner plate dahlias, and every size in between. They are a huge wow factor in late summer. So when you've had sort of your midsummer flowers that have come and gone, the dahlias suddenly burst into life. So from mid-July onwards, right through to first frost, which for us is usually about October, the dahlias are just amazing. In Garden Flowers, we actually don't lift our dahlias. If you are in a part of the country which is colder and wetter, you would need to lift the dahlias in the autumn. But here we don't lift them. We leave them in the ground after the first frost when they've been cut to the ground. We mulch very heavily. We put on about 6 to 8 inches of mulch on top of the dahlia plants, and that just tucks them away for the winter. What you'll start to see then in March and April is that the shoots of the dahlia will start to come through. Now this is a danger time because this is when the slugs love the dahlias, and if you're not careful they eat all the fresh new shoots. So here we have a policy of not using any chemicals, but we do use something called nematodes to keep the slugs at bay. And nematodes are a microscopic worm which you water into the ground, and they then penetrate the slugs and aren't very good for the slugs, so the slugs die. But it's a great organic option because we wouldn't use anything like a slug pellet. So once they've popped up in the ground, then they get their first feed. So we use two sorts of feed. We use chicken pellets, chicken manure pellets, and we use liquid seaweed, both of which the dahlias seem to really thrive on. And once they start flowering, we do keep feeding because we're constantly cutting, and that takes quite a lot out of the plant. So we want to make sure that it's given enough feed to keep it going. And then as soon as we get to first frost, that's it. If you live in colder climes or wetter, where you have much wetter, colder weather, then the dahlias really do need to be lifted in the winter. And this is done by, once they've been frosted, cutting away the stems, digging the dahlias up, drying them off, often with the stalk end upside down, so the tubers on top, and then just let them sit somewhere dry so that the earth around the tuber can be easily knocked off. And then you need to store them over winter, and they like being in a cold, cool, dry area. Sometimes people put them in crates, some people put them in boxes, and wrap them in sawdust or in hessian. But as I say, we don't do that. We here in the southwest of England, it is relatively relatively low on frost, so the dahlias are okay left in the ground. I do hope you've enjoyed listening to our conversation about dahlias, and thank you very much for your interest.